Welcome to Hatha Yoga Short Forms with Gabriel Benjamin. Begin standing with a tall spine, and let's take a nice deep breath. Our first movement will be the palm tree Vinyasa, arms open, and we'll lightly twist side to side, creating a rhythm with the movement and breathing smooth. The hips and knees are relatively square, although a little bit of movement is fine. Mostly we're focusing on warming up the spine, building very mild strength, and garnishing circulation throughout the entire body. Stay with the breath and relax and switch to doing some nice shoulder rolls, looping it out and doing your best to let go of any tension you're holding on to in the trapezius, upper back and neck area. Breathing. Let's do both directions. And when we feel complete with that, we'll paint the house, stretching the wrists and then pushing through the palms. Fingers drape down as the arms lift. Palms push out as you glide. And continue painting the house. Inhale and exhale. If you have big lung capacity, your movement may be faster than your breath, even though we're not trying to rush the movement. Eventually you breathe very long, and even a slow movement doesn't quite match the breath. That's perfectly fine. Mainly we're aiming to be very smooth with the movement and smooth with the breath. We'll segue into pushing the palms up and then pumping the arms. So the fingers are intertwined, the palms are facing up. However, if your wrists really hurt, you could have palms down. And just relax and take a palm tree flow, this time side to side. Gliding side to side, stretching the side body, taking a few rounds. Next, we'll bring the hands to heart and take a very light chair. And if it feels good, sink deeper and extend the arms more. Take the level of chair that works for you, and then segue into a nice downward facing dog. The hips are high. It is okay to bend the knees, but otherwise we're toning through the legs and lifting out of the shoulders. The next sequence is cat rolls. Lower the knees to the ground and roll out the back. So smooth. Rounding the back, low, mid, and upper back. We prolong tucking the chin so that we can prolong the stretch in the neck and feel a sequential flow in the spine, vertebra by vertebra, or at least low, mid, upper in that order. After the cat rolls, we'll push back into the downward dog and emphasize the length of the spine, and we'll switch to a runner's pose. So we have runner's stretch, and we'll focus on taking a twist. So we'll place the hand on the knee, take the twist, and use that leverage to go nice and deep, feeling that the chest is opening as well as getting a great stretch in the lower body and spine. Next pose is Warrior One. Plant the back heel firmly and come up into it with the navel drawing in. The knee is bent either above the heel or ankle, and then we step up to a chair pose. Step back to downward dog and take deep breath as we sustain. And lifting out of the shoulders, and then again we bend the knees down. Take a step up, opposite leg, runner's lunge. And we take some deep breath, lengthening the spine in the runner's lunge. The spine is long initially, and then we use that length to complement the twisting sequence. So when you're ready, place the hands, twist. It's good to look over your shoulder if the neck feels good, but if the neck is sensitive, twisting the neck is very much not necessary, only if it feels good. So do that if it's working for you. Otherwise, as all things, adapt according to your needs. Stay with the breath. That's what matters most. We're going to be smooth in transition with breath and gliding movement into Warrior One. The arms are long in tone. You could have them lower if your neck is sore. The hips ground, the navel's in. Enjoy the stretch and the strengthening, and then switch to a nice chair. Start in a prayer version and then extend the arms if that suits you. Chair is very good for strengthening the thighs and the hips. Stretch the hips and thighs in downward dog. Downward dog is a great stretch for the posterior thighs, and you can gently tone the front of the thighs to complement it. We'll be coming back to the hands and knees and then making a turn and opening the legs into a straddle position, or what they call Prasarita Padottanasana in Sanskrit. From here, we'll put a little bend in the knees and come upright. Wipe the dirt off your hands if you're practicing outside, and then take a nice Warrior Two. Long arms, strong back leg. The knee is centered or slightly open so that the knee is protected and the hip stretches more. We'll deepen the stretch in the hips and the hamstrings with the triangle pose, flowing over the right leg and doing our best to lengthen the ribs and ground into the feet. Deep breath. And eventually we pass back through Warrior Two, just a brief strengthening movement, and transition to the other side. Make sure you fully open the left foot, and you can have the right foot pointing up a little bit too. Warrior Two, deep breath. The spine is strong, the legs are active. It's a stretch as well as a strengthening pose. Next is triangle pose. So we lengthen the legs and lengthen the rib cage and lengthen the arms. If the knee has issues, of course, you could put a little bend in the knee. Mainly, you want to make sure that the foot, ankle, knee, and hip are all opening, not caving inward. Just a little bit more here. It's always fine to look down with the neck if you need. Pass through Warrior Two. A little bit of extra fire in the legs. And then transition back to the straddle position. Stretching and breathing. From the straddle position, we're going to switch to a squat. Some people's knees or ankles can't handle the squat, so feel free to carefully step and sit down. Do an alternate seated hip opener of your choice. Otherwise, squat, lengthen the spine and lift the chest. Consider having the hands in prayer, showing dedication and gratitude for yourself and your practice. After we've done either our modified hip opener or our squat position, we can eventually sit on our glutes, set up for a Navasana, point the ankles, extend. Feel free to hold the backs of the knees, but if you can, have the legs lengthened and extend the arms. And after a very brief Navasana, we'll switch to an extended cat pose. Extending the right leg and then the left arm. We're toning in the core, not overarching the low back, lifting the belly, and doing both sides. Take the other leg, extend the other arm. And that was nice. We've completed both sides now. Let's switch to a seated pose. If you can sit on the heels, that's great. Many students may need an alternate posture, like having the legs forward with the right leg crossed over the left for a twist to the right. We'll take our twist to the right in this seat or an alternative seat, but primarily focusing on having the spine long, the sternum tall, the shoulders open and relaxed on right and left. Turning the head only if it's working for you, and breathing primarily. Of the many details there are in form and alignment, remember the breath is the most important thing. We'll do both sides, so unwind and take the other side when you are ready. And keep breathing. The chest is open and tall. We're breathing into different parts of the lungs by adding this twisting motion, so that's very nice. And take one more big breath. And we're going to eventually unwind, come back to center, and bring the legs out from underneath. Bend the right leg and take a hamstring stretch on the left side. This is also isolating one side of your back while gently stretching the quad. You're welcome to have the knee bent if you need, and or just hold the lower leg. Otherwise, we're reaching forward through the heart and enjoying this dynamic full body stretch. The inhale is full and the exhale helps us to feel calm deep inside. Let's go ahead and switch sides. The arms lift and then we stretch. We're working on balancing the sides, doing about 3 breaths each side. If you have one side that's tighter, you're always welcome to do that longer, or maybe do 2 rounds. And remember your options of bending your knee or just holding the shin. That's perfectly fine. We're going to enjoy this as our final pose before deep relaxation. And ideally, we're already feeling deeply relaxed. Today's deep relaxation pose will be a cross-legged seat for a little bit of what I call quiet time. If you don't like a cross-legged seat, you could do an alternative seat, or you're welcome to do a long reclined shavasana as a reclined meditation. Otherwise, sit cross-legged and simply close the eyes and focus on soft breathing for a little bit. This will help us to really garnish the full benefits of the practice and feel calm deep inside. We'll complete practicing, taking a little bow and showing some gratitude for ourselves and our practice, and trying to take that nice relaxed feeling with us throughout the rest of the day. Please consider donating to this channel by clicking the links in the description. Thank you so much for practicing with us. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.